today I want to talk about the Bundesliga games from this afternoon. The first one was Leipzig against Augsburg, two teams from very different regions of the table, so they obviously had very different expectations of the game. Leipzig is trying to play Champions League again next year, and Augsburg is just fighting to stay in the league. So you could see that fight in that game, and that's just also how it ended, because it ended 0-0, because both teams really fought to try something. Leipzig ran and tried, and always tried to score a goal, but Augsburg fought, and they tried to defend as good as possible, and they did. And since they played in Leipzig, I believe it's good for Augsburg to at least get 1 point from such a strong team that's Leipzig. So I mean, it's the opposite for Leipzig. It's a little disappointing for them to not beat Augsburg. I mean, Augsburg has beaten Dortmund last week, so they're not bad. They're definitely not bad. So you can't underestimate them. And I don't think Leipzig did, but they tried, and then Augsburg defended well. So yeah, 0-0 first game, and the second is Freiburg against Berlin, Hertha BSC Berlin. So that was a different situation in my opinion. Freiburg got a lucky win, especially because it ended 2-1, and the last goal, the second goal for Freiburg, was an own goal by Berlin's striker Ibisevic, and it was his first own goal. A weird situation. He just headed the ball in his own goal after a corner. So that was weird. But yeah, it was lucky for Freiburg, and yeah, on the other side, sad for Berlin. But you have those kind of games sometimes where you just lose it, even if you were maybe better in the second half. But sometimes the football god is just not on your side, and you lose them. And Freiburg also had bad luck in other ways, because one player broke his ankle and he had to have surgery immediately, and so that's how football is sometimes. So 2-1 for Freiburg. Freiburg has nothing to do with the bottom positions of the table, so they will stay in this league pretty certainly. And Hertha is still trying to play Europa League next year, so with this loss, it's not good for them. So, but yeah, those games happen. And now we come to the two, I'd say, most exciting games this afternoon, because Dortmund played and Bayern played. So first, Dortmund had a home game against Stuttgart, and they won it 3-1. But especially in the first half, you could see that it was very difficult for them to finally be able to score again. They just don't feel, how can I say it? They don't feel like they know how to do it anymore. It just seems like a constant struggle for them to find a way to score a goal. So that's the first half was just running, and Stuttgart defended, and the first half was actually a little boring, and then the second half immediately started with a penalty for Dortmund. So that's how Reus scored the first goal, and not long after that, Stuttgart scored the 1-1. So I thought, oh no, will that be a bad game for Dortmund again? Because it kind of looked like that. You could see the players are thinking, oh no, hopefully this will be fine. But I mean, it became fine for them, because after some more minutes, Alcacer managed to score the 2-1, and in the end, Pulisic, I think he wants to be called Pulisic, he's got the 3-1. So that was it for Dortmund. They won it, but it was definitely, especially the first half, was definitely difficult for them. And I mean, Stuttgart lost, but you finally see that they have an idea how they want to play, and they are finally mentally more stable. So that was good for me to see. I thought it's definitely good for them because they definitely have a chance to stay in the league if they keep playing like that. It's obviously difficult to play against Dortmund, but that was a good effort of them, even if they lost. And so if they play with the same effort the next games, they definitely have a chance to stay in the league this season. So Dortmund won. They made the 3 points they needed, and yeah, the game was obviously the Bayern game, and Bayern played at home against Wolfsburg, and they won 6-0. It was they were dominating Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg had no chance at all. Even if people thought, I expected that might be difficult because Wolfsburg is such a good game in away games. It was such a good team in away games, but nothing like that happened. Bayern dominated completely. Wolfsburg couldn't do anything. It was just overwhelming for them. They never have a chance in Munich. But they somehow are never able to do that. Lewandowski scored his famous five goals in a row a couple years ago, also against Wolfsburg. So they never really have a chance against Wolfsburg. And another interesting thing about that game was that Müller, Hummels, and Boateng, the 3 German national players, Joachim Löw, the German national coach, he kicked them out of the national team a couple days ago, and all 3 of them reacted how people expected it, actually, because in my opinion wasn't a good thing of Joachim Löw to do it that quickly, and that he barely talked to them, and they're all a little disappointed of how the national coach treated them, because they did a lot for the German national team, and now they're just kicked out, and he made it look like that they won't play again, and that they felt like they were treated unfairly, which I definitely understand. Even the coach of Bayern, Niko Kovac, said something like that they didn't deserve this kind of end for their national career. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that you didn't see that at all in their game today. They played very well, all 3 of them. Thomas Müller, Mats Hummels, and Jerome Boateng. They all 3 had a good game. So maybe they wanted to show how good they still are after those criticism of the national coach. Well, the national coach is under pressure, obviously, after that World Cup. But I'm going to talk about that another time. But yeah, that just shows the mentality of Bayern player now again. They're so stable again, and so yeah, they have the same amount of points as Dortmund now, and since they scored 6 goals today, they actually have 2 more goal. Their goal difference is 2 goals better than the one of Dortmund. The Dortmund's goal differential, and that means they're on the number 1 spot again. So Bayern is number 1, Dortmund is number 2. They have the same points, but Bayern is at the moment in the better shape, the better form. We'll see what's going to happen next Wednesday when they have to face Liverpool at home. That's going to decide how their season is going to be, because if they lose, that could be really, really disappointing for them, and then they might lose focus on the Bundesliga. So we'll see how that's going to be. Dortmund also has to be better. They finally have to be very confident again, as they were the first half of the season. They have to find that spirit again which made them so successful in the first half. They lost that a little bit. I mean, also because opponents figured out how to defend against them. So that's just how it always is. You always have to keep adjusting your game to stay successful. So yeah, Bayern is pretty dominant again, and it's difficult for Dortmund. So we'll see how this season is gonna end. It's gonna be very exciting. Finally, two teams with the same points on 1 and 2. So let's hope for an exciting end of the season. And you'll see me again tomorrow when I post the next video. If you like this one today, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment if you want to. And that's it for me now. Goodbye.